Yeah, guys, Shadow King here, and today we're bringing you part one of the Alter Hero. Um, the Avenger. Give me a minute. The Heroic Avenger, Deku Alter. Yes, that's the title. I just messed that up. Forget about the first part. Anyways, so before we begin, this What If is actually going to be replacing the whole What If Deku had Gilgamesh and Artorias or King Arthur's powers. Mostly because I just kind of find that after thinking of for that what if for a bit, it's kind of ridiculous. So instead of doing the whole he gains the powers of a heroic spirit, he is a heroic spirit. But what I but just like with the whole Enya being the whole you know kind of time traveling to just kind of kill his alter self, it's actually going to be something it's actually going to be different. Um, Mostly because he sort of gets unintentionally summoned from the future, if that makes sense. So, another thing is, Deku Alter is more of a whole lawful evil than unlike Joan of Arc, pretty much. So, Deku pretty much has the same ideals, it's just that he's more violent towards it. Just kind of like manga Deku, obviously. Another thing is his hero costume or Deku Alter's hero costume does look like the one in the manga, except it looks fixed, if that's how you want to say it. The hero costume he's wearing looks fixed. The difference is it still looks scary because he has the whole corruption or blackening markings on him, which was the whole pretty much drenched in black with red lines. Um, Not to mention, since he's an Avenger and an Alter, One for All has sort of kind of been corrupted, to say the least. Instead of having green lines whenever he uses, or green electricity whenever he uses it, it's more of a whole reddish, blackish electricity when he uses it. Not to mention, um, he kind of got the ability to like release energy blast, like dark energy blast. Not like not like a very huge one like Saber Alter can do, but just like kind of like small bursts. So, anyways, um, where Deku gets summoned is kind of like it's very interesting. I kind of want to do it at the very beginning, um, where he kind of gets into UA, pretty much skipping the ball throw and skipping the whole um heroes versus villains test. Pretty much he's gonna be summoned around the whole a little bit before the USA arc, and we all know who's gonna be the one to summon him. The resident cinnamon roll, Eri. So the way he gets summoned is fairly simple. Eri is actually in her room, and this is before she kind of like has distrust of other people. I don't really know how to put it. Like she didn't trust anyone and wanted everyone to like not interfere with her because she's a curse. But since this is around a year and a half, I guess, before she was saved, I can say that she still wants someone to save her. So when she kind of like is kind of like in her room, just trying to like wishing for someone to save her, like she slams her small hands on the table because she's kind of like beginning to be traumatized as she slams her hands on the table, saying like, "What's the point in all this? Nobody wants to curse like me." As then something falls out, which is this. As then As soon as Eri notices fall to the ground, she picks um she picks whatever fell and looks at it, seeing that it's someone tied up with chains, and underneath it it says Avenger, but she can't like really spell out Avenger, so she's kind of having a little bit of hard time saying like Avenger. So so as soon as she gets like on her fourth try to say Avenger, Overhaul walks in saying, "Eri, it's time for the operation. Now come here." And she as Overhaul forcibly grabs Eri, dragging her to the operation room. As Ari's still clutching onto the card, saying, kind of like in a small whimper, saying, like, "Please, no more. I don't want anything. I don't want to do this again. Please, someone save me." As then the card reacts. The reason the card reacts, or in this case, the reason why Aries summoned Deku, is because Deku had a strong relationship with Eri. More of a whole father daughter, brother and sister type relationship instead of the whole lover relationship you weaves or you shippers. Um, so it's it's what caused the whole catalyst for Deku Avenger to appear. So in the next minute, a dark and reddish aura fills the air as everyone's blown back. As overall is all like, "What? What the hell is this? What the hell did that curse do?" As then, as soon as the sorry, as then Aries all like, "It's this aura. It's very scary, but at the same time, why does it feel so warm and comforting? Why do I feel so at peace with this aura?" As then the light soon dies down, revealing revealing a figure, um, wearing a costume, a very scary one for most people, as the silhouette is completely black with red markings that seem to glow. As then the silhouette looks up, its red eyes start to glow through the eye holes as it turns around and it's with his eyes closed, saying, "I am the heroic spirit Deku, Avenger class. I ask of you, are you my master?" As Deku Alter like looks down to see Eri, as he's all like, "Eri, but why? Like, why does she look so young? It can't be. Did I go back in time? No, I died before that happened. Not to mention my body, it looks like to be like at least 16 or 17 years old." And also when I left UA, although this feels different, my mind is clouded for some reason. Oh well. As then Deku Alter turns around and looks to see Overhaul. As Deku Alter would then say, "Overhaul, that son of a bitch." As then Deku Alter would then just walk towards Eri, as Eri's kind of like trembling and very confused and very scared of this scary figure. As then the figure just, in a quick motion, just knocks her out. As Deku would then place her to the ground, next to a wall, as Overhaul's all like, "You, what the hell did you do to my Eri?" As Deku's all like, "Your Eri? No, no, no. You see here, Overhaul, or Kai Chisaki, what's gonna happen here is that you're not gonna hurt Eri any longer. I'll give you a choice. You can either surrender peacefully and turn yourselves into the police, or as he puts um as he puts his fists together, saying, "I can crush the absolute life out of you." As you scream for a mercy that will never come, as then I will tear you apart, limb from limb, and hang you upon the trees. As then, people who see your dead and lifeless bodies will call it the carcass trees of villains that won't survive my wrath. As some of the villains of Overhaul or Overhaul's minions would sort of take a step back and kind of being intimidated by this, but Overhaul being Overhaul and the over cocky bastard that he is, would say, "I'd like to see you try um, a hero who kills." Don't make me laugh. Not to mention you're bluffing. A hero will never kill me. That's why you're all so soft. As Deku then says, "Oh really? Are you sure you want to try it?" Sorry, try me. As then Deku also gets into a stance as he's all like, "One for all, full cowling, 100% corruption mode." As before any of his goons register what happens, Deku unleashes Black Whip into all the lights. As all the lights have gone out, as overhunting minions are completely left in the dark, as then the only thing they see now is of a silhouette with glowing red eyes and a glowing costume. As then they hear a voice with a monstrous they hear a monstrous voice saying, "Welcome to your personal hell." Before the silhouette disappears, and then the only thing everyone hears that night is the screams of terror that are coming from the building. As Deku pretty much breaks everything, leaving them only at the brink of death. As Deku would then proceed to hang them from the trees, as the villains slowly bleed out. As Deku would then return back to Eri and picks her up before removing the mask, as Deku's alter face has the scar over his nose, a scar over his eye, and his hair is black, along with his eyes also being red instead of green. As Deku would then say, "Don't worry, Snowball. No one would hurt you anymore." As then Deku proceeds to leave um, leave the Yakuza base, as then he changes into more casual clothing, wearing a dark green shirt, a black sweater, or a black sweater or a black coat, along with black pants and his his classic red sneakers, but they look like to be reinforced with metal, although it doesn't show it. Oh, okay, his sneakers have the whole metal or the iron soles that he wears, but they don't look like they are the iron soles. They are the iron soles, but they're not the iron soles. And then Deku would then just proceed to like, how do I say this? He will proceed to use smoke screen to just kind of sneak into a store and just kind of get a new clothes for A, which look like this. As then he sort of comes out and sort of carries Eri back as he uses a blanket to cover her because she's sleeping. And he kind of gets into a hotel, um, and using the money that he had when he died, sort of pays for it. As he put Aries down in one side of the bed, as he uses the desk that usually comes with the hotel. I don't know if that's true for all hotels, but at the hotel that I stayed at, they had a desk. As he kind of pulls out an empty journal, as he kind of begins writing down everything that happened. Him stating that he was summoned by Eri, but he doesn't know when he was summoned, and also stating that he sort of changed the future now, and but since he hasn't like disappeared from reality, or at least his memory is altered by him changing it, he's all like he believes he's in an alternate reality. So, um, so Deku puts the book away or the journal away after writing few more notes, and then in the next minute, Eri wakes up and she kind of frantically looks around, saying, "What happened?" As Deku's still like, "Don't worry, Eri, calm down. Everything's fine. The bad men in Overhaul are gone. They will no longer hurt you. I promise." As Eri starts to calm down, saying like, "You promise? What happened? I blacked out and then I saw nothing." As Deku's like, "Don't worry. Um, I just um, you just fainted." As Eri's like, "Oh, I see. So, who are you?" As Deku's like, "Okay, so she hasn't met me yet, meaning that I should be around a little bit before we attack the Yakuza." As then Deku just proceeds to introduce himself, saying, "My name is Izuku Midoriya, but you can call my my name is a heroic spirit, Deku Alter. I am from the Avenger class, but you can call me Izuku Midoriya." As there is all like, "Oh, well, thank you, Um, Mr. Deku, for saving me." As Midoriya is all like, "Don't mention it." So, anyways, Deku would then say, "So you're gonna be staying with me for the time being until I figure something out." As Eri is all like, "What is it?" As Deku is all like, "Don't worry too much about it." So Eri would then just kind of, as Deku would then just distract Eri with the new sets of clothes, as Eri would be overjoyed, and she kind of begins changing, and Deku sort of like turning around to not see a girl changing because even though he is an alter, he still has standards. So, um, Eri's done as she changes into the PJs, which Deku instructed her to wear. As she seems to get back into the bed, and kind of asked Midoriya to like sort of join her because she's scared. As Deku's like, yeah, sure. So Deku Walter would then just fall asleep right next to Eri, holding her like a daughter. Anyways, guys, before I forget, the reason why Deku didn't mention anything about the whole command seals and everything is because he doesn't want Eri to like freak out of it. So, anyways, guys, Shadow King out. See you guys in the next part.